مرحبا بتويخز بدي احكي بالانجليزي لانه ماني معود. I left 40 years ago, so I'm going to have to use a foreign language, but unfortunately. I'm very honored to be here, and I was asked to come talk about success. Success isn't quite my specialty. I don't quite believe in success. Success to me is when you look at yourself and you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Yes, in your 80s. And that 15-year-old child looks at you, that you're not ashamed. That's my definition of success. Commitment to your country, to your village, to your place of origin, to other people. So in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about what I do for a living. When I was about 15, my father asked me, hey, you know, what do you want to specialize in? I said, what do you mean by specialize in? He said, yeah, here at school, people study literature for, you know, the world of ideas. Some study commerce, if they have a practical sense and like money. Or they study mathematics. So I had to decide. I said, why decide? I thought it was a French thing, you know, that was a French invention to just, you know, run the world, you know, by making them, putting them in buckets. So I didn't really decide. But I was very lucky that initially I wanted to be a writer. And when you want to be a writer, you have to read a lot of books. So you don't focus on school, you focus on how many books you can read before the age of 20 when you start writing. So I was very lucky that I did not pay attention to school because I discovered that school is a great device to prevent you from understanding uncertainty. It forces you to understand certainty. Later on, after the Lebanese War, went into exile and decided to make uncertainty my specialty. What you don't know, ambiguity, what you don't understand, things you don't do in school. So I had a very weird career. 20 years worked as a trader. In the middle, at the age, say, 26, decided to become a mathematician. Usually you decide to become a mathematician at age 10, but at 26, and then finally became an author and philosopher. So I did the three of them, and now I'm back to pure mathematics. So what my father told me at age 15 was effectively a French invention. And what do I specialize now in? And can you lower the lights? The lights are sort of bothering me. What I specialize in is how systems can handle disorder. And that's what I learned from Lebanon. The strengths of Lebanon, you know, is not what you read on tourist brochures. That, you know, it's a great country, you know, great food, ski, water, entrepreneurs. No. The strengths of Lebanon is that we know how to deal with mess. We have a perpetual mess, and we know how to handle it. And now I'm using this as a general theory. I call it Anti-Fragile. That's my last book. The one before that was The Black Swan, a book I don't like, but very well known. A more influential book intellectually is Anti-Fragile, where it's a new idea to measure countries, measure places, measure companies, measure careers, measure individuals in their ability to deal with disorder. So that's what I do for a living. And of course, I come back to Lebanon. I left 40 years ago. I come back 6 times a year. I don't go to Beirut because too many cars in Beirut. You should reduce the number of cars by about 30%. And I go straight to my village in Amiun, and I work on my ideas. And now I'm, you know, developing a more general theory about disorder. Thank you for inviting me.